First of all, how do you comment on Riyad Mansour's statements at the General Assembly, especially regarding his criticism towards UN institutions and the international community for not upholding their responsibilities and roles towards protecting civilians in the Gaza Strip and the violations of international law as he described it?
Violations are committed and the mass genocide against the Palestinian people are committed before the whole world. All international institutions affirm that, and the UN report issued and the other organizations affirm that the catastrophe and the gross crimes committed against the Palestinian people. Here is a responsibility should be shouldered by the United States of America, all European countries, particularly those who support Israel with arms. What's taking place in Gaza, it's about a real test for the international human law and human rights, and all organizations and international institutions, as well as the ruling part, the ruler throughout the world, as the crimes committed before or against the Palestinian people are committed before everyone. Yet those countries are rhetoric by democracy and the law role support the Israel. More than 13,000 Palestinian children were killed. Many of them were in schools, asleep, or in the refugees camp, as well as the shelters. The women are killed, houses demolished above the inhabitants, and the premature babies in the NICU are killed. Senior people are killed, as well as the worshipping houses are demolished. These horror and appalling crimes committed against the Palestinian people generates an international responsibility. The orientation of these countries that support Israel with arms and provided an umbrella for the United States of America and the European countries should reconsider the instances, as it is a big shame before humanity. We are living in the 21st century, but no crimes in this century were committed. Why is this silent? Why this cover and the violation of the international law? Why?
Right.
They are waiting. They listen daily basis
Right.
to the Israeli statement issued by
in
the
regard to
senior-
that, in regard to that, and to what you've said previously, also, Amnesty International has reported that Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Now, what kind of measures should be taken by the UN in light of these reports, and what kind of measures should be implemented, and moving from just reporting and reading these reports into taking action and implementing them in regard to violations of international law and humanitarian law also?
issued and are issued by all the international institutions, resolutions by the International Court of Justice, the UN General Assembly resolutions, and then reported before or from the all international institutions. Despite that, all what is committed before the eyes of all these institutions, but the double standards of the decision making to provide impunity for Israel, or to prevent, should they prevent him of committing this crime? The Israelis are taking undergoing, as always, under the umbrella of the United Nations. Despite that, the crimes are committed. The U.S. should reconsider such a policy. The U.S. taxpayers shouldn't pay taxes for financing the genocide wars against isolated women and children in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank.
But Dr. Bassam,
Dr. Bassam,
the UN reports are stating that there's genocide in the Gaza Strip. That's a war crime according to the UN Charter. Now, what kind of measures or steps could the Palestinian envoy, for example, at the United Nations, could take to take advantage of these reports?
Envoy is always hidden before the United Nations and to take a decision and to issue a determination and to commit Israel not to commit such crimes. But unfortunately, some of the political stances of some countries prevent this. That would give a green light for the Israeli authorities to continue in practicing such a genocide. We shouldn't forget that there was U.S. vetoes always been used to condemn the Israeli authority for the United Nations or the free world. Those who are concerned about the human rights and wish to preserve the lives of children should resort to the 7th article of the United Nations Charter to take a very clear resolution based on the 7th article of the United Nations Charter to commit, or rather to abide Israel not to commit such crimes and not to use the veto right by the United States or some supporters of Israel.
All right. Finally, Dr. Bassam, finally, what kind of implications or results can the General Assembly resolutions have on pressuring the international community? We know that the resolutions passed by the General Assembly are not quite effective as the Security Council resolutions, but can they have any kind of pressure?
Nations resolutions has the feature of unabiding, but those resolutions coming from the United Nations based on the 7th article that and what prevents this to be taken is the U.S. veto. We hope that the U.S. policy to change its policy with as such and should have an American boldness to say the truth. We all know that the killing operations were made in the 7th of October, and as we also condemn killing civilians from each party, so the Palestinian stance demand is just again its independent state and the Palestinian rights and to live in peace and security with the neighboring country. We are against the killing, but the genocide that is committed against the Palestinian people, against these people that are longing for to get their rights as the people of the whole world. The whole world should stand beside these people that is getting killed. Their homes are demolished. Gaza became inevitable and the infrastructures is destroyed and whoever is not killed by the Israeli bombardment using the U.S. aircraft such as F-15 and F-16s are dying because of hunger, because of the dissemination of diseases, because of the cold.
Right.
Gaza is just like a great and a big prison. All people are suffering badly We never seen a human catastrophe in this century as it happened in Gaza.
Right. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. That was the international law professor, Dr. Bassam Al-Qawasmi. Thank you for your insights.